Hi loves, welcome back to my kitchen. Now that I have showed you how I go about making my all-time favorite sweet dough, I am going to show you how I use it to make some raisin buns. So let's get cooking. Now the first thing we want to do is add 1 cup of raisins along with half a cup of water to a saucepan. Now guys, we are doing this so that we can get those raisins to steam nicely in order for them to get a little soft for this raisin bun. So we cover it up and steam for about 3 to 5 minutes. Now after that 5 minutes, we turn off our heat, and while it is still hot, we put it into a bowl because we want to add some cinnamon sugar to it while it is still hot, because we want that cinnamon and that sugar to get infused into the raisins. Now I normally make my cinnamon sugar using about 2 tablespoons of sugar to 1 teaspoon of cinnamon powder. And here I am adding the 2 tablespoons to the raisins. Now guys, you don't need to add this much when you're doing it. As a matter of fact, you don't even need to add the cinnamon sugar, but because I love the taste of the cinnamon in my raisin bun, I always add cinnamon sugar when I make mine. We then put it aside to cool. Now here it is, that beautiful, beautiful dough. Now for today's recipe, I am using half of the dough, so I am going to cut it down in half and set the other half aside. And in another video, you will see what I do with the other half. Now I press it down a little and I use a little flour and spread on my surface, and then we roll the dough. Now guys, you want to roll the dough in as much as possible as you can into a rectangle. Now when I was doing this raisin bun, honestly I kind of forgot that I wanted it to be like a rectangle, so I kind of just went ahead, still put it somewhat like a rectangle in certain areas, but not so much. And guys, at this point you can roll it out as thin as you want or as thick as you want, because the thinner it is, the more layers you're going to have on the spiral of that raisin bun. Now I take some butter that has been sitting at room temperature and I spread all over the dough. And then I am taking the raisins that has been cooled and I am going to pour it over the dough. Now guys, here I really went a little extra with the raisins. I love raisins in my raisin bun, but you don't have to put this much because the cup of raisins is enough to actually make this entire dough for raisin buns. Or if you roll it out really thin, then you put the raisin in, but you really don't need to put this much. I then just roll the dough, and you want to roll it into a nice little log. Now once you're done rolling, you want to pinch the sides to tuck them in. And then we're going into cutting our buns. Now for this one guys, I am going to make 6 raisin buns. So I cut it down the middle, and with each half I am going to put it into 3 individual buns. Now once we are done cutting, I'm going to take my pan which has been lightly greased with some butter, and I am going to place those raisin buns into the pan. Now for those that have the little extra piece on the side, you want to just tuck it underneath so that it gives you a nice finish when the raisin buns are out of the oven. Now once all those buns are placed in the pan, you flatten it just a little bit, then cover it up and set it aside for about 10 minutes. Now after that 10 minutes, as you can see, it has risen just a little bit, so we're going to set it into our preheated oven at 220 degrees Celsius for about 25 to 30 minutes. Now guys, when it's done, if you remember the extra raisins that we had in the bowl, I took off the excess raisins, and with the balance of the cinnamon sugar, I added about 1 teaspoon of water and a teaspoon of melted butter, and I am going to use that as a glaze for those raisin buns. And guys, you can already see that beautiful rich color that is already there on the raisin buns, and it's just so beautiful. So once you're done putting that glaze, you're going to put it in your oven, which is still hot, for 1 minute, just so that you get all those juices to soak into the raisin bun. Now after that 1 minute, there you have it. Those raisin buns look so good. Now we are going to let it sit to rest for about 5 to 10 minutes before we take it out of our pan. Now after that 10 minutes, guys, as you can see, it looks so soft. It just comes off from the pan, and then you're going to just separate it so that you can take it off your pan. And guys, you can already see that the dough is just so beautiful, just separating it from each other. We then just put it on our plates, line it up nicely, and there you have it. Our soft, cinnamony, sweet, beautiful raisin buns. Now guys, this raisin bun is so delightful. This is my favorite recipe for my raisin buns. Now you go into that bun and you tear a piece from it, and you see how beautiful it is. The layer of that cinnamon sugar just looks so good. The raisins just sitting there so nicely. It's really delicious. But guys, let me know in the comment section below if you love raisin buns as much as I do, because I'm sure you can tell that I love it. Raisin buns is actually one of our favorites here on the island, and this was it for today's Creole recipe. Let me know in the comment section what you think, and I will see you in the next one. Okay, bye.